Just trying to adjust my camera because it makes me look taller than you. Got to make it about the same height.
Now you're on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. This stupid thing. Oh, yeah, here we are.
There we go.
Yeah.
But you see, all I need to do is to do this, and I adjust my height.
Oh, yes. Adjust you. Yep.
So, welcome. This is Spin Legal. This is the 2nd of June, Tuesday, even. There we go. So, welcome everybody. And today we're going to be talking about the administrative monetary penalty system. Or at least I think I haven't come up with this alternative AMPS yet, but it's got to be all money.
Administrative monetary penalties.
No, but it's got to be. I've got to have the alternative one, which is all money, plenty safe.
All money, period.
Yeah.
This way, it's a cash grab, cash cow.
I know. All right. Okay. So, welcome. This is Invictus Legal. You can call us on 905-688-5598. Angela's email is angela@weareinvictus.legal, and mine is peter@weareinvictus.legal. And our website is weareinvictus.legal. So there we go. Okay. So here's the question of the day. What is an administrative monetary penalty system? And I've got the answer already there. Okay, no, that wasn't the answer. The answer is actually in another couple of slides. The answer is it's the way to make you guilty. And here you go. So the answer is it's the way to make you guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful? We have a wonderful system now. It's a reverse onus.
Yeah, we are changing the law, so now you're on these minor offences. You're guilty until proven innocent. The only trouble is
they used to use it for parking. Yes, I can understand it for parking. They find it away. But when it starts becoming other things where things could become more serious or consequences could be more serious, using AMPS for those things has created a number of problems.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And let's talk about those. So essentially it started, as you said, with parking infractions. And let's be honest, you park somewhere where you shouldn't be, there's a penalty and that's it, right? There's not really any arguing that, is there?
No.
And how did it used to work under the old system?
It used to work where under the old system, if there was a municipal infraction, they wrote you a ticket and you can plead guilty or not guilty, and then you'd have a hearing. And if you feel that you were not guilty of it, you'd go to have a hearing and plead your case. And there was a chance that you would win your case and get let off or have a reduced sentence, or you can plead it down.
Yeah, but when they set up the type 2 penalties, they were largely, the provincial offences type 2 penalties were largely, minor offences, and you pay $25.
Things like that.
Yeah.
They were
$25
too much about that, because a lot of times, you'd go to your city and you could fight a parking ticket at your city, if you wanted. And they had an AMPS system then. And basically what it was is that, say they gave you a $50 parking ticket, you go in there and you fight it, and they'll maybe chop it down to $10.
Yeah.
Okay? But you're still guilty of parking infractions. Okay? But I guess at one time, at some point in time, they said, this is easy. Let's attach this to more offenses.
Yeah.
And yes, the provincial government let them do this.
And well, actually, I don't know that the provincial legislation actually stopped it, because it's actually been permitted through the through both the Highway Traffic Act and the Municipal Act.
Yeah, the Municipal Act there were some changes made where more things could be dealt with through AMPS.
Hmm.
Of course, in the municipalities, of course, some municipalities still use the old system, but some of them do only.
Hmm.
Some of them go through AMPS. For example, we've seen AMPS where people illegally running bed and breakfasts, they get charged so much per day.
Yeah.
Landlords not having a license to run their premises in places where landlording is licensed are getting amped at so much per day.
Yeah.
These
Well,
things, I think you should have a right to be able to go to court and plead your case and get guilty or not guilty. Be
Well, I think part of the problem here is that because AMPS is a guilty until proven innocent situation, and of course what you do is you knock your $1,000 ticket down. Oh, I'll pay you $300 by next Tuesday.
yeah. And they've
Right?
not been too bad with it. You know, when we've had tickets where we've gone and we've had red light camera tickets, things like that, and they've cut them down. Okay, but it's when it gets to be these more bigger offenses where the cash penalties are larger.
Yeah.
That I think
Well,
that the
it
questions need to
becomes
be asked.
it becomes, for example, running an illegal bed and breakfast, i.e., you put your one spare room up. That hey, just imagine this, Angela. In your room, your son's just gone off to university. Phew, got rid of him for a little while. Now I can put his room up on Airbnb,
Hmm.
right? So you're going, yeah, summer's coming. I can make a few bucks here and there.
Hmm.
Just to have his room up on Airbnb. And then what happens is because you've got your room up on Airbnb, now you get $1,000 penalty, and you haven't even made 500.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like they're assuming you're making all this profit, and
Yeah.
you're not. Okay,
Well,
many of them don't make profit.
and in fact, actually, there was a case. I was held. I did a Airbnb type case, a vacation rental type case under the old scheme, and she was the provincial prosecutor was actually saying to me, "Yeah, but this person's making $15,000 a month because and what she'd basically done is taken the day rate for the Airbnb listing and multiplied it by 30,
Yeah, and
right?
she doesn't realize that maybe most of the month this is not occupied.
Yeah, exactly. You may only, certainly in December, October, November, December, January, in places like Canada, there's nobody's booking those kind of places. So $15,000 penalties are complete and utter ridiculous, but they just want to break people anyway, So anyway. So that was under the old system. Under the new system, they're tending to put in these $1,000 a day, and some of them are actually a bit on the odd side. So common violations like noise complaints, animal control, property standards, and clean yard bylaws. Clean yard bylaws. Oh, those are the worst. In fact, actually, here's the thing. So let me paint you a picture. You're a landlord. You've got five tenants in your property in your properties at number 3 and number 5 Wilson Street, right?
Mhm.
Now pretty well all of those tenants are nice tenants. They always put their rubbish out on a Tuesday morning when the bin men are coming, except for Joey Jones, who piles up a whole heap of rubbish in the backyard and never puts it out on Tuesday mornings, right? So what happens? Who's the person who gets penalized in that situation?
Landlord.
You are, because you're the landlord of them,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Same as property standards. Tenants do things. They fiddle around with the fire alarm.
Yeah.
Take the fire alarm out because they're tired of it going off when they're cooking. So
Yeah.
then what happens is fire code inspection. They see that the landlord gets blamed.
Yeah. Yeah. And the landlord did nothing wrong.
Yeah, the
And
tenants remove it altogether and tell the fire department they never had it.
yeah, that's another possibility. And of course, again, the landlord did nothing wrong.
Yep, exactly. And this is very wrong, where
especially,
they have to start ascertaining the facts. So I
yeah,
think that there needs to be a hearing of facts in these cases.
yes, and in that particular scenario that I just described, where you own five rental units in two buildings, right? You're not exactly, yes, okay, technically in that scenario, you probably are a millionaire on paper, but you're not raking your money in hand over fist. You're
Mhm.
not, you're not making a bucket load of money. Really, you aren't, are you?
Mhm.
You're surviving as a landlord. You're on the bottom rung of the ladder as a landlord.
Mhm.
And hey, best wishes to you if you're a property landlord in that scenario. But you have to think about exactly these types of situations. Under the old scheme of systems, what would happen is they would write you a ticket, you'd go to court, and you'd argue that it was your tenant, and they'd probably then call the tenant in,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Because the tenants, if they're doing these things, they should be the ones who get fined
Yeah.
and having to replace these fire smoke alarms and stuff like that, or
Mm.
to clean up the yard. Hey, hey, the trouble is they can't find the tenants because they're not paying property taxes. The landlord is.
Yeah.
So they stick it on the property taxes of the landlord. The landlord could, of course, go back to the landlord
Well,
tenant board and then try to get it off them, but good luck.
how?
Yeah, good luck. Just
Yeah,
put it on
how?
OESP.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, there's the question here is, so you've just been fined $1,000, and because you thought you would fight it, now the fine is $1,367.27, right?
Hmm.
And now because you couldn't pay it in month one, now it's $1,427.02, right?
Hmm.
Now and every time you turn around, it's gone up a new amount until it gets put onto your property taxes.
Yep.
Well, good luck finding the tenant. By the time you get the relevant application through the board, the tenant's already skipped into the ether.
Yep. They've either disappeared or they're on ODSP. And
Well,
they can't be.
ignoring whether they're on ODSP for a second, the chances are that they're really untouchable at that point
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly. Or they disappeared, as you said.
Yeah, yeah,
There's so many things, that they have to look at. They got to give you a chance to look at these things,
yeah.
how to actually resolve these problems. The
Uh,
city's interest is resolving these problems.
yeah.
If that's what it truly is, and not just creating a money grab, okay, they have to try to set up a system to actually
Well,
resolve these
for
problems.
for example, a failure to live to property standards. So what has happened? And I'll put this one in the air because it's a real thing from my house, right? Back a few years ago, that I got dinged with one of these property standards thing in the front of the house. There was a curve in my front um, attached part of the house, the add-on section of the house, right? There's a curve in the roof. No, nothing's leaking. There's nothing wrong with the roof. There's no danger to anybody. In fact, the people who put the new roof up there, the new upper roof up there, climbed on this roof. They said, "Oh, it's a little bit dodgy, but it's not. It's stable." They said, "There's nothing wrong with it.
Hmm.
It's not about to kill anybody.
So,
Otherwise, we're not going up on the main roof."
mhm,
Right?
got a book.
They went up on the main roof. They gave us a brand new roof, and then the property standards people say, "Yeah, it's got a curve in the roof. You have to fix it." Right? Yeah. It's the most stupid thing there is on the
Right.
planet. But in reality, they should fight. You should be, you should fight it. They should have to prove their case.
They should go after real property standards issues,
Yeah, yeah,
where landlords allow rats to take over the house and the tenants live with them. Or if there's no heat, non-functioning furnaces, non-functioning plumbing,
Yeah.
These are the things that property standards should go after for
Yeah.
landlords that are allowing their tenants to have to live with those.
Yeah, absolutely. All
If
right.
somebody wants to live in a house like that and it's not doing that, and that's their own house, I don't know if property standards should really do much.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than maybe refer that there's some resources or something to help them out because sometimes they're elderly people.
Well, and that actually is another question here, because that doesn't take any notice of personal circumstances, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Right.
Okay. But I can tell if a person is renting out a place that is a rat infested den, yeah, then there's an issue. You don't rent it out to people if it's going to be a problem for the person.
Yeah.
Animal control is another thing that I've seen it done. Well, like those are the places where they only allow you to have 3 dogs, but then you have a fourth. And
Yeah.
then they fine you heavily because you got a fourth dog.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, that sounds really ridiculous.
It is. And it is ridiculous. And the thing is that, and it's even stranger when you consider that the dog bylaws are written for, like here, if you're living here in St. Catharines, or in Toronto, or Hamilton or somewhere like that, they're written by a municipality with city living in mind, right?
Yeah,
Where spaces are closed, and having 4 dogs in a house could be a nuisance. If you had, if you go to the other extreme, you could have a dozen dogs in a properly kennelled location out in the middle of the country, and nobody would even know the dogs were there.
yeah, exactly. If they're looked after and they're cared for, who cares?
Yeah.
Person is looking after the dogs, they spay and neuter them, they get their medical care, and even though there's a number of them, like who cares? I think that it's better than having them go into a shelter and then be euthanized.
The other one that is on this list is noise complaints. Now, 90% of the time, here's another case of police laziness. For example, if the noise complaint comes from, let's say, a bed and breakfast or a vacation rental property, hey, yeah, okay, there's one quick solution. You're out of here, and you're not coming back,
Right?
right? Police have that power. I've seen them use it.
Yeah, and they should use it. If this is that it's a known Airbnb or a rental place, they would have that right to do that. They should.
Yeah. Well, they've done it. You see, I know that they've done it because I've witnessed the police doing it from places like from the Hilton Hotel in downtown Niagara Falls. I've seen them do it from the from what do you call it, the casino in downtown Niagara Falls. Right?
Mhm.
They've kicked them out of there. They're basically saying, no, you're trespassed from the city for a year. You
Yeah,
can't come back. You come back and you will be, you'll face stiffer penalties. I don't know quite what, but
exactly.
you
Yeah,
know,
and then if it's noise complaint because it's a tenant or a person who lives in their own home creating the noise, then they come in
it's
and
a
then
different rule set. You know,
yeah,
if you've got
there's
a
other
tenant,
rules about it. They can fine you if it's proven noise.
yeah,
There's been situations where I've had somebody actually measure, they actually recorded it every time they heard the noise and where it was coming from. And they had the police come over and then listen to the recordings. And then the person eventually got dinged for it.
yeah, yeah. But you see, some of the
Music,
recordings,
whether it's a loud party or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Okay. And the thing is, and also difference in the time of day too. So if it's during the time of day and you're trying to fix some stuff on your property and you're drilling stuff and
yeah,
sawing wood and stuff so that you can build whatever you're trying to build. I mean, that's something that's only going to be a short term and it's done during the daytime. So you're not bothering people to some extent. But if
yeah,
you're doing it at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's a difference.
yeah. The other thing is that tickets are actually reviewed by a municipal screening officer, and is that probably with the vast majority of tickets, they if you apply for a screening, probably what's going to happen is your $300 ticket becomes $25 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So they try to help you with that, like they're not trying, if you're trying to appeal it and trying to approach them and you might have a good reason for whatever, they're not going to be stupid about it.
Yeah.
Hey, we've approached them, and I've talked to screening officers before. Hey, and they've been pretty reasonable in dealing with it.
And the point being, though, is you've got to be able to be in front of a screening officer in order to hear the case. One of the
what to do with this, they don't know how to get to a screening officer, or how to get it reviewed.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who get a ticket, and the ticket is kind of written out. The ticket is kind of written out, and blah de blah, all the things about it, and then at the bottom here it says, if you want to appeal this ticket, please turn over. So you turn over, blank sheet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they should actually have the instructions on how to appeal it, who to contact, what to do.
Yeah, and what your timeline is for appeal. Because the other thing about that is that there are strict timelines for appeal when you're doing a screening.
15 days or something.
Yeah.
It's not very much time for some people, particularly when they get this stuff and then they see it and they say, well, what am I going to do? Most people put it away and forget about it. Then they look at it and they say, oh my God, that's not right. That's not fair.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you really got to question these things. The other areas, unpaid municipal penalties can result in late fees, property tax additions, or Ministry of Transportation blocking your vehicle permit renewal. Well, I didn't think they could block your vehicle permit renewal anyway, because we no longer have taxes done that way for vehicles, do we?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So theoretically, if you had one of these, and I'm going to use these mobile speeding machines, which were applied through AMPS, and you didn't pay the penalty, how are they going? How are they going to collect the money?
Mm-hmm.
There's no vehicle permit renewal anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that you might well find is that in 3 years' time you move, and now you move to your new address, and they say, "Yep, thank you, $392.76 as well, please."
Yeah, I think it was a really dumb thing for some of these things, with the Ministry of Transportation, then waiving the registration fee. Pretty dumb.
That's a separate argument, Angela. That really is.
Because the thing is, people need to do this so that they could relocate themselves and then be found.
Yeah. It was, and the thing is that, and from our viewpoint, one of the things about skip tracing. Sorry.
Yeah, like the thing is, from our viewpoint, skip tracing, people would be moving their address like within 7 days of a move, and then we'd be able to locate them.
Yeah. Whereas now you can't skip trace that way. The only way you get to find them is through credit cards.
Yeah, or through Equifax, and there's some other ways too as well. Like if they have loans on something, a vehicle, and they're registered through the personal property security, there's a number of things that you can search people from.
And one of the things you've got to remember on all of this, particularly when it comes to if you're in the situation of of having gotten an administrative monetary penalty, then that you're guilty until proven innocent. There's a few other cases that I think you need to actually consider, because there's a few provincial offences that have an administrative monetary penalty system as well, but for different reasons. One of them, for example, is the Occupational Health and Safety Act. There's violations in there, and essentially it utilises an AMPS framework in order that they can kind of restrict, they can issue penalties directly to the employer, and that then labour inspectors can issue financial penalties directly to the employer.
Yeah, you sound underwater, Peter.
Sorry?
Yeah, you're sounding underwater there.
Yeah. Oh, did I? All right. Yeah. Basically, under our Occupational Health and Safety Act, the Ministry of Labour inspectors can actually issue financial penalties directly.
Yeah, particularly go there in the workplace, and they went there. They actually went through the occupational health and safety process within the workplace, and then the person wasn't satisfied. They went to the Ministry of Labor. The Ministry of Labor comes on site, and they haven't been in compliance within the time frame allotted. Then they could actually come down and issue fines.
Yeah. And essentially, these ministry fines, I don't know, are they actually appealable?
They could be. Yeah, you could appeal them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one is paying OHSA penalties protects the employer from being criminally prosecuted or even having future lawsuits against them, can't it?
Yeah, and this is one of the things. It's even like WSIB. That's what protects the employer from being sued by an employee who gets injured on the job, even if the workplace is really deliberately unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
And WSIB is supposed to be the one who you go to.
Okay. And there's another area, which is provincial regulatory bodies, which I understand use AMPS type systems, like healthcare privacy, for example, when there's a breach of PIPA, PHIPA. So like an employee a medical record, they can find the hospital or the administrative portion when there's a breach.
Yep. And then these could be appealed as well. There's a system of appeals through information and privacy with respect to the legislations that they cover.
And the other area, which is Financial Services Regulatory Authority. So these are people when you're getting loans and other various financial services. I think, does that include mortgages? I don't think it does, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, it does. Okay.
If I have a mortgage broker, but these are the B lenders, not the A lenders.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they're provincially regulated, when the A lenders are mostly the banks and they're federally regulated.
Mm. Okay. And the point being is about these. They issue penalties to businesses or individuals who break pensions and insurance rules.
Yeah, and they got a lot of tough rules that they have to follow too. People could be fined heavily for mortgage infractions as a mortgage broker, and then lose their license too.
Mm. Yeah, losing the license is something that you wouldn't wish on anybody in these situations. But and again, probably they only applied at the most severe end of the situation, and we put them in here because they, that's they say that they're supposed to be better. What they're covering is the idea is it behind AMPS is that it basically disputes are resolved quickly within weeks or months instead of facing lengthy court backlogs. The systems decriminalizes the offence, so penalties are financial and compliance oriented, meaning that they don't get a criminal record, and the other is that there's an early saving. Financial systems often require discounts, so if you pay early, but that's not in all situations. For example, the town of Caledon offers you a 25% discount if you pay your parking ticket early.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, sometimes they allow you to pay early and then you get a lower fee.
Yeah. So it's a $50 ticket, but you get 25% off if i.e. $12.50 if you pay your ticket within the first 10 days.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This is always trying to do this, but I've always saw a lot of the AMPS outside of things like parking and that sort of thing to be a bit of a money grab.
I think that's what a lot of people complain about, because it's the money. They feel it's a money grab. We complain about our taxes because you put them up by 2.5%. And hey, that is absolutely disgusting. I think I'm not going to elect you as my representative next time around. No, Angela, you're not going to be my councillor next time around. Oh, damn, she got back in again. Damn, I'm not going to elect her next time around. And I'm going to tell everybody in St. Catherine's not to elect Angela. But the point being is that, it is, I think it's a bit of a lazy man route to the courts.
Yeah, exactly, because I feel that sometimes they're wrong.
Yeah.
When they lay these things.
For example, that example you gave earlier on about the dogs, the rural person who had a dozen dogs in his kennel, right? Couldn't find, in fact, you had to actually be up within 50 meters of the kennel to even know there was dogs there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? and when you come up to the kennel, they kind of go, I want to lick you to death.
Yeah, exactly.
My friend down the road,
you see they're well fed, they look healthy, like this type of thing, and then going after somebody for that, I don't know. That's wrong.
Yeah.
I could see if they were neglecting the dogs, not giving them proper food and veterinary care, things like that, or running a puppy mill or something. I think that could be something they should go after. But
and then hey, then hang 'em high rules apply, don't they?
Yes, they do. They do.
We're not just talking about AMPS. We're talking about hang 'em high rules, and Angela says for anybody harming an animal, you hang them real high.
Animals can't help themselves.
Anyway, that's another topic entirely, and we can come back to that one another day. All
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Okay, well, thank you everybody for being here. And if you need to contact Invictus Legal, you can do so at 905-688-5598. Email Angela with angela@weareinvictus.legal, or myself using Peter at weareinvictus.legal. And our website is weareinvictus.legal. There we go.
Yeah. So if you heard anything today on Spin Legal, whether it's on this show or any others in the series, that this is not legal advice that we're giving you. We don't give legal advice on the air. If you need specific legal advice that you want to ask, then you need to contact a paralegal or a lawyer that you can meet with or talk to, and then they can give you specific legal advice that applies to your situation. Okay.
Yeah. And I guess we'll be back in another week with another episode of Spin Legal. I don't know what next week will bring, but that was an interesting run around the administrative monetary penalty system. And I still can't say it.
Administrative monetary penalties.
AMP.
Yep, AMP.
Yeah. And they had system on the end of it.
Yes, system, which is like AMPS. Let's bring in AMPS. Or let's
Yeah. All right. So bye, everybody, and have a great week.
2